all the Paladin cards that have been revealed for the upcoming Perils and Paradise Hearthstone expansion. And I mean, first of all, we have the Sunsnapper Lanessa. I think I already talked about this card. It's the Rogue Tourist that lets you play the Rogue cards, except for the Tourist. You can't put a Tourist into the Tourist into a Tourist, so you can play all cards from every class. It would kind of defeat the purpose, but yeah. So this card you can't put in Mage, right? Because Mage has the Paladin Tourist, so Mage can use Paladin cards. Right, and you have your spells that cost 2 or less cast twice, which, like, I don't know. I think the turrets are all pretty cool. They're all really nice. I talked about this already, but we might get back to this later because there's some cards coming up that are pretty nice with it. Then we have Sandcastle. I'm just gonna say this is a Sandcastle. I mean, it's obviously a joke. It's just a 5 mana 3/8 rush that turns into a location. And the location you get is a 5 mana 8 durability location. Give a friendly minion +3 attack and rush. Turn back into a minion. Oh, okay. So you attack with this, and then I'm guessing it depends on how much durability. But if I hand buff this... One question that I have here is a little bit... If I hand buff this to, like, let's say a 6 attack minion, will the location give +6 attack? That's an interesting part. So this actually just turns in, this is like a super, so this is really sick with hand buff, right? Because, I mean, so the attack on this card, give a friendly minion +3 attack, is always equal to the attack of the Sandcastle, and the durability is like whatever is left on your minion, right? So you use 1 durability on your minion to use this. So you can basically rush an entire board with this. You have to build a board first though, but I mean, the card looks pretty cool. It's pretty nutty with hand buff. You can, like, if you have like 1 minion, you can already just play 1 minion and play this. You can just remove like an entire board. Should have given this Lifesteal 2 smiley face. And this card is mega naughty. I like it a lot. 5-star card. It's like, especially in hand buff, right? You get, instead of +3 attack and rush, you get like +6 attack and rush on like the tiniest minion, and you can like, and then it doesn't have like 8 durability, it has like 10, 12, whatever. And if you heal it, you get to like use the location over and over again. If you attack, the location is closed. That makes sense. Locations are closed for a while. But I mean, still, like, if you attack, let's say this is like this is buffed by 2. It's not unrealistic, right? So it's a 5/10 rush. You rush it in, then you give a minion +5 attack and rush, and then you rush it in, and then you have to wait 2 more turns, and you get to do the same super nutty stuff again. I still think this card's amazing, right? I'm pretty sure this card is really cool. I like it a lot. Then we have 10 mana Sea Shanty. Summon 3 5/5 pirates. Cost 1 less for each spell you've cast on characters this game. Alright, let me look at this card at the very end, because this will be dependent on what else happens. So we'll look at the other cards first. We'll look at the Volum All, which is a 3 mana 3/2 weapon. After your hero attacks, get a 1-cost sunscreen that gives +1/+2. Like I said, I think this card is probably trash. I mean, sure, you get like, you have too many good weapons. The Paladin hand buff weapon is just too good. I see no reason to ever do anything else with any of my Paladin cards than play this hand buff card. Unless somebody convinces me otherwise, I'm not going to put this weapon over my good weapon in the deck. And I think this is kind of where the discussion ends. Like, yeah, maybe I can put this in Mage, but, you know, I can put this in Mage if I'm playing like a big spell Mage, but I still want some like cheap cards, I guess. But like, I really don't even like give a minion +1/+2. I don't think it's that useful. Alright, Grillmaster. 4 mana, 3/4. Battlecry. Draw your lowest cost card. Death Metal, draw your highest cost card. That's a pretty strong tutor. I think this is a pretty good card, just in general. I just feel like this has some really good synergy with Mage, with Big Spell Mage. Because like you can play the Paladin Tourist, and then you can put this in your Big Spell Mage. Because what they've been trying to push in Mage is they have this Big Spell archetype, and this kind of guarantees that you have like a big spell in hand that you can play with, for example, King Tide, you know? So I think this card's like probably really sick in Mage. And this is what I really like about the Tourist. You just have so many more possibilities of deck building. And to me, deck building is the most fun part in Hearthstone. So I think this card's pretty good. It just draws 2 cards. Sure, you don't get the highest cost card immediately, but you can probably sack this off. Then you have 6 mana Power Spike. Deal 4 damage, give a random friendly minion +4/+4. Holy. I mean, that it's holy kind of makes this interesting. But deal 4 damage, give +4/+4. Unless I can mega cheat this out, this is like not what I want to do. And I don't want to play this in Big Spell Mage either, because it's like it doesn't do enough. I like that it's random and friendly. That's kind of cool. So it can't go on opponents when it gets cast. Yeah, I mean, you can play with a Cowboy, but even then, like, what are you doing? On turn 3, you play a 4/3 with, like, and then on turn 4, you deal 4 damage, and if you don't have a minion, you cry. No, thank you. Alright, then we have 1 mana Divine Brew. Give a character Divine Shield. If it already had one, give it +1 attack this turn. Character, yeah? Character. This is really interesting. There's a big difference between minion and character. You can give your hero Divine Shield, which is mega absurd. Giving your hero Divine Shield against some classes is just complete BS. I mean, I think this card's just really good, right? 3 Divine Shields for 3 mana. And you can split them up nicely. And this is a Holy Spell, so Mage loves this, because they can actually put a cheap Holy Spell into their deck. I love this card. Like, I don't know, it's a pretty control-y card, so it might not, like, see play, actually, because the meta might not be for it. But I think the card's pretty amazing by itself. I think the card itself is nuts. I just think of, like, there's just a bunch of uses, especially in like Spell School Mage, where this would be really sick. Then we have Lifesing Aura. At the end of your turn, get a 1-cost sunscreen that gives +1/+2. Okay, you get sunscreens as well, and this lasts 3 turns. And you have the advantage that it's an aura, because that means that it's a holy spell as well. And it kind of has some synergy with the aura cards from Paladin, where you like can extend auras and whatnot. So that's pretty interesting. What do you think is better? Giving a character Divine Shield, or just doing this? Like, I guess you can just play this on 1, which is kind of a nice part, but it's like, this is also 4 spells for the Pirate spell, which is interesting, right? Because this gives you 3 1-cost sunscreens that you can then play. If there was some card that let me play my spells like for 1 less, maybe this is like kind of nutty in Mage. You play this, and you play this together with the Elemental that gives you like the Elemental Companion, and just hope you roll the guy that makes your spells cost 1 less, and you just play all of them. You never play this on 1. Mage might actually play this on 1, because they just don't do anything on 1 otherwise, so they don't care. But yeah, you probably don't even want to keep this in your opening hand. That is a little bit the problem with this card, is like, you don't want to play this on 1 because you don't want to keep this. That's the only issue with it. That's what I don't like about it. I'm mostly thinking about this card as a Mage card. I don't really think about this as a Paladin card too much. Most of these cards just feel like they're Mage cards. Alright, next one. We have 4 mana, 2/7. Taunt, Battlecry, the next spell you cast is Lifesteal. Okay. So this is like really awesome with Keeper Strength. And the 2/7 Taunt. I mean, 2/7 Taunt's kind of cool with the hand buff as well. I mean, obviously the flush is better. It's pretty fun in Mage too when you do a lot of damage. This into like Flame Strike. Giga Heal. This into like Star Power, heal for 10. Dude, this into Star Power is actually kind of nutty. But it just depends on what kind of well, it just depends on what kind of mage you're playing, right? Because like big spell mage, like, do you want to play this? I guess you could. I guess this is pretty cool if you play this and then you like set up like King Tide or something into Sunset Volley and you heal for 10. This is just another mage card. This and Keeper Strength is pretty good as well. Yeah, there's all like pretty control-y cards. But control really doesn't work by itself right now, does it? And like works in like a Highlander shell. But I guess I could work in like a Highlander shell. You run a lot of trash in Highlander, and this is probably better than the trash. Serving Ace. After this minion gains attack, reduce the cost of the highest cost card in your hand by 1. So the idea is you play this, and then you give it Sunscreen, and then it discounts the highest cost card in your hand, and then you can play the Sea Shanty for free. Which is summon 3 5/5 Pirates, con 1 less for each spell you've cast on characters this game. That is opponent's end on characters. That's friendly and opponent. So every mage removal works, every paladin buff works. And besides the fact that you could probably just play this in like a, you know, in big spell mage. Because we had big spell mage together. You have the Surfaloped, the next spell you draw is cast when drawn, right? And then you have like King Tide. And this might just be another like big expensive spell you could play in a deck like this. Just like 3 5/5s, why not? I think this card's really good. I think if anything makes this kind of like archetype work with like the small spells, it's probably this one. I think this card's probably like, this is probably a 5-star card. Or like, yeah, I think that's probably a 5-star card. More than anything else we've looked at so far. I think this card's really good. I'll probably see Mage and Paladin usage somehow. Unless the only Paladin you play is hand buff Paladin, then maybe not, but yeah. This is pretty cool. I like the Paladin cards. I like the Grillmaster a lot. I don't like them all, honestly. But I like the Divine Brew. It's a pretty controlling card. The life card I'm a little bit on the fence about. I'm not sure. The Surface Ace, I can't imagine being played. This card, I mean, it has the best keyword in Hearthstone, the cost 0 keyword. That's the best keyword in Hearthstone. So I really like those Paladin cards, but I think they're also super impactful for Mage. Alright. You know? Well, thanks for making it to this point. Always remember that you're valuable and you matter, and I'll see you in the next one.